Yeah, what is good, guys? An interesting Monday for the markets. Nothing too much really happened. It seems to be consolidating before its next move, which I do think could be a bounce before going lower, but that's what we're going to be talking about today's video. There's a lot of scenarios you need to be looking out for, so I really recommend watching this whole thing through. There's a ton of opportunities I'm going to be pointing out for you guys in commodities, especially oil, because if oil does what I want it to, what I expect it to, there is a lot of money to be made. So with all that being said, we're going to hop right into it. Make sure to show this video some love, give it a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. So to start off with Bitcoin, not too much to say. I'm not sure what it wants to do right now, but the main thing to know, just to be aware of, is that it's underneath that bear flag. As for now, I'm not sure what it wants to do. Maybe rebound a little higher. I really don't know what it wants to do, so this is just a good time to kind of wait and see what it wants to do. I think this is the next big area you would want to be watching. 20,800 seems to be a pretty good area with a lot of reactions. So not too much to say. I think it's just best to watch and see what it wants to do for the next few days. Oil. There's a lot to talk about. A lot to there's so much money to be made on this thing. I made a ton of money today. It went up a good amount today. That clear breakout. So there's a lot of stuff I have to talk about oil. So to start off with, I'm going to zoom in and show you kind of what has been happening, where we got rejected from today. So a few videos back, I'm going to show you right now. This is that area I was looking for oil to get to and have trouble in. So I'm going to show you that right now. We were down here. I said we're probably in this falling wedge. You had two divergences on the MACD. This is going up while that's going down, and you tested that upper trend line now. You're having trouble with that 50-day moving average on the 4-hour, but the point is you're testing that upper trend line. So I think if you get a breakout, this seems like a pretty significant area where you kind of have a lot of congestion. That would be a supply zone where you'd find resistance, but I think oil's getting ready for a breakout, so something to watch. We got that breakout. Very obvious. The Elliott wave structure is very clear too, so that's what I'm going to show you right now. Well, again, I'm just stressing the point. This is that congestion area where you're meeting a lot of selling pressure, and also that's right before this volume gap. So I think if you get into that, it would be a pretty decent move up to that next zone of liquidity. So zooming in a little more, we're going to go on to the 15-minute. So today on the shorter term, you had an inverse head and shoulders, which I was looking at this morning. I doubled my position on this shoulder right here, pretty much right at open, and Elliott wave. So I believe it was yesterday's video. Yesterday's video. So wave 1, 2, 3, 4. Wave 4 can only retrace 50%. So I thought there was a very high probability that it would not go past this, and it did not. That's where you got your bounce, and you have not gone towards that since. So what's next? I showed you in yesterday's video as well. 198.60ish. So we've been riding this all the way up in the Discord. I've seen some people take massive positions, and they are already up several thousand just from this little move. And I think there's a chance oil can move up to 157 a barrel, which I would rather not that happen. I would rather not be paying $9 a gallon for gas, but whatever that price would be. But you're going to see. I'm going to show you and explain to you how that could happen. And it's crazy, but you'll see why, why I think it could happen. So the daily RSI, I'm going to show you this. This is pretty big. Daily RSI is at a big spot here. In this downturn, this thing could be breaking out soon, and it's not testing this trend line like up here. It's doing it around the midline, so it would be a very sustainable break, just because there's so much upside, and this is pretty much neutral territory where it would be choosing to break out from. So there is so much upside on oil, and right now I'm playing UCO. That's the ticker. I started talking about it when it was at 32, and it's getting up. It's closing in on 40 right now, 39 something. So it's been doing really well. So that macro perspective, this could be an enormous triangle. And if this is, I'm going to show you the waves. So I have never had to chart something that has gone into the negative numbers, so it's a little awkward, but I have no clue where to draw it from either. But I think I'm just gonna stick with this. Um, I think you could see something like this. So you get up to like 150 early 2023, late 2020 during the winter. But this is something to be really looking for. And some people might say you can't retrace more than 50%, but on commodities, it's a different picture. You can have a lot of like really violent moves that happen very quickly that go against the rules, but is still acceptable as in terms of commodities. So we're gonna move on from oil. Watch oil. There's so much money to be made on oil if it plays out right. So this is something we're really gonna be watching. So the dollar, very interesting. You get negative bearish divergences. You went a little higher yesterday, or yesterday, today, whatever it was, and you got rejected. You're under this pretty big trend line, horizontal resistance support, whatever this is. It's very interesting. So if the dollar pulls back, and I would think it has a pretty decent pullback, just because of this has been on an absolute tear lately. So if this pulls back, even breaks this trend line, you would see a lot of relief on the markets. And I would think up to 440. So I'm going to show you and explain that to you. But this is pretty significant. Those are some gigantic divergences on the daily. So these have a lot of this has a lot of significance. Just something to be aware of. It doesn't make sense, but that would put SPY in a massive uptrend. Just something crazy, I guess. Something to be aware of. So, Apple, I was doing LA Wave on this with someone in the Discord, and we have decided that Apple is in an interesting spot. This, one thing to note, it did not fill the gap today. SPY did, but Apple didn't, so maybe wanted to fill that gap. But what we're trying to figure out is, we do believe it's going to go lower, but is this bounce done? So if this is wave 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wave 4, the highest probability area of wave 4 going to and rejecting from is the 0.382. So maybe you move up to here. That would let you fill that gap before you get your move down and fill this gap. This is the gap we've been watching since up here. I said it's going to come down here. I said explicitly that Apple will come down here, and that's what's happening right now, but it's a process. It doesn't just happen instantly in one day. So the question I think you should be asking is it done bouncing, or can we move up to 164, 165.50? So another thing, there's a chance it could be an ABC. The macro picture of the markets doesn't really make sense for this to be the bottom, but SPY, I'm going to show you some stuff so that you can really understand it. So Apple, I think the question you should be asking is it done with this bounce or not? And for it to be equal to wave 3, wave 3 can't be the shortest. This one's longer than this wave, so wherever this stops from, you'd be looking at the low 150s. So if this is where it topped out, the low 150s. So that's it for Apple. Tesla, nothing really new here except that it broke underneath this trend line. So this is very interesting. You're going to want to see what it does with this trend line, how it interacts with it over the next few days. But Bollinger Band still inside the Keltner channel. It's gearing up for a big move. And I'm not sure what it wants to do. RSI is looking bearish. It's testing 50. MACD is crossed over. But ADX is under 20 still. It's hard to say. Is it an accumulation or distribution? Very tricky spot again. So Biotech made a new low. This is the move we've been looking for. Preferably to 82. Fill this gap. In the Discord we were shorting up here. We closed on this candle and we've just been watching it because it could have done a lot. There were a couple scenarios up here. It could have went parabolic from here, broke out of all of these insane resistances and that supply zone. So we were just watching it because we always want to take those highest plays with the highest odds of coming out with the profit, low risk. So it was just not good risk reward to take that play here, but it was likely that it was going to do this kind of move, and that's what's happening. So SYX, we've been making a ton of money on this in the Discord. buying in the low 30s. It's at 45 right now. But a big spot here, you have big resistances, you have some divergences on the hourly, very little ones, but divergences nevertheless. So SRXS, I feel like you could be turning to the downside soon, get a little bit of cooling off, but you really did break out of a gigantic downturn. So SRXX, this is one I'm looking for to turn down soon, but it might not. It's approaching that gap. It broke that supply zone in yesterday's video. A lot of things to consider here, but I played XOXL. I'm attempting to go long on this. If it makes that new low, I'm probably getting out tomorrow, but very low risk here because I bought in right here, so if it breaks that low, I hop out with a very, very small loss, and if it breaks out, then I'm coming out on top. So this is gonna have a lot to do with what SPY does tomorrow specifically, I think, but something I'm watching. If it makes that new low, I'm probably just gonna hop out and keep watching it because I do think it's time for this to turn around as well as this, at least for a little bit. So again, something I would just be watching, but I do think this could be turning around a little bit. That gap has pretty good incentive to get filled, but again, doesn't hurt to just wait until the picture just kind of clears up. So the VIX doji on the daily, showing indecision. So very interesting spot. It's showing indecision. It doesn't know what it wants to do yet. Just something to see how it kind of goes tomorrow and the day after. But nothing to say really. Just it has that doji showing indecision. So on SPY, I don't want to spend too much time on SPY today. Also, I'm just gonna say this quick before I start on SPY. So I'm going back to college tomorrow, so I don't think I will be uploading a video tomorrow, and I'm also going to be at an Airbnb with my girlfriend for like a week, so I'm probably not going to be putting out videos for a little bit, but I will be in the Discord. I'll be active in there, so I really recommend joining that, because if I'm not on YouTube, I will be on the Discord. So just putting that out there. I'm not sure when these videos will be coming back, but I want to give you what I can for SPY, so you can really just be prepared for the bigger picture for these coming weeks. So today what happened, you closed right on that 2.618 of that fib channel we've been watching for like the past week or so, and in yesterday's video I said maybe want to come down there. You're right there, and that's what happened. You closed literally right on that line. So what else did you touch today? A very important level for, I guess, the macro turn. So 50%, you bounced right off of it, and this was the level I mentioned in yesterday's video. That's very important, as it's the 50% of this wave, which could be wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So technically 440, 444 is now out of the picture, and because we went lower, that target is now a little higher. So there's so many scenarios, and it's kind of unfortunate with the timing that I won't be able to do these videos while it's in such a big area of indecision macro-wise, but if this is the fourth wave ending, 450 is next. That is insane. Maybe you have a truncated fifth, but that would be that next wave up, 450. So it kind of aligns with the dollar somewhat if it fails that big trend line, but there's so many conflicting factors. The fundamentals are horrible. So many conflicting factors. So that's why I'm probably not going to be trading SPY too much, and I'll just be shifting over to commodities, trading oil, semiconductors, biotech, whatever I see opportunity in. But for SPY, I still have my short position from, I've been riding this thing all the way down, and it's been making me a ton of money. I scaled out today. I went long a little bit. So I might be reconsidering that, I guess, decision I made today of scaling out of the short and going long for a little bit, because that is, I don't know what I was really thinking. I was just thinking, I saw it kind of bottoming out in this area, consolidating, and it looked like it did want to move up, but I can easily just reconsider that position and just reposition myself. So what I really want to happen is for this move to, I want SPY to get a little bit more of a bounce, because first off, on the hourlies, you're really oversold here. You're showing some divergences as well. Um, so, I mean, the bears can totally come out in full strength. That's what I've been expecting since we're up here, but we are at my targets of the low 400s. I think we can be pushing into the into the 390s because there is a lot of incentive to get down there. You have gaps, you have demand zones down there, really big supports, fib levels there, Elliott wave lines up with it. So there's a lot of incentive to get into the 390s, but right now what I want to see is a little bit more of a bounce, preferably up to here, which I'm going to show you right now. So ABC, originally my count was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I was looking for wave 5 to end here, but now that we got this bounce, it's very hard to say because it doesn't really seem like this is part of this fifth wave. It might be. It's very hard to say. So this is why I'm saying this is a tricky area because I do not know what SPY wants to do right now. I saw like the options flow. There were millions coming into calls all day in like Tesla, Apple, and SPY, I believe. So big money is having a bullish bias now. It's very tricky. So I mean, you've had a gigantic move to the downside. We're gonna look a little bit more at the macro soon, but first off, I want to show you what I want to happen. So if this is, regardless of what wave this is a wave right here. This is 100% a wave, and what I'm looking for would hopefully for SPY to move up to. So I'm just going to draw this out as if it's an ABC moving up to 450. So 450 is a possibility still because it broke out of a rising wedge, which after wedges you get moves with very little structure, very hard to work with. I mean, look, just there's no structure. Like I can't work with any of this. Just gapping down, just water falling. So it's very hard to do Elliott wave on price action after wedges. Just in specific scenarios like oil, it's still working, but here like there is no structure to work with, so it's very, very difficult to work with. But if let's just say this is an ABC, and you're looking for where this can retrace to, what I would like to see is for it to, so it's very difficult to draw, so I'm just going to do it without drawing anything. I would like to see it push up to the 0.382 at least around 408. That's a very high probability area for wave 4 to go to, which this has to do with Apple. So it seems like this is the count for Apple, so you could maybe do this count on SPY, where this is 5 waves down, potentially 3, 4, maybe you move it a little higher and you get up to here, maybe even to the 50%, which is still possible before getting your next leg down, but again, it's so difficult to say. So I think it's better to just point out the levels that you want to be watching. So I would like to see us move up to 408 region, which that lines up with Elliott wave I'm doing on futures ES. But if this is an ABC on the short term, so I guess this is a better way I can draw it out and visualize it. If this is an ABC and you move up to 408, this is an area you would watch for rejection before turning down into your next move, which would be, regardless of what wave this is in, I think you could be looking at 396. So this is that area we've been watching to 397.50 and 390, 393 too, I believe. So that's because there's so much demand, or you'll see a lot of buyers come in. So, and how I know that, I'm going to show you. So I can take off this. This is really kind of cluttering it up. So this is there's a lot of demand. You're going to be met with a lot of demand too. Right now you're in a zone of illiquidity. So when you get into these regions, you fall straight through it basically. So I'm just going to visualize that so you can see where we've been in this region and what happened in that region. So you move through it very, very quickly. So this is very tricky. I think tomorrow, there's really not too much I can say right now until tomorrow so that I can really see what's happening. And I'll be explaining what I think is happening in the Discord. So Again, join the Discord. If I'm not on YouTube, that's where I will be pretty much all day, because I won't be at my setup and everything. But I don't think there's really too much I can say what's going to happen until tomorrow. You have the VIX showing indecision, SPY showing indecision, the dollar almost topping out showing divergences. So I feel like odds are good for a bounce, especially just because you've had such gigantic moves down on all time frames. You have the ADX going under 20, so you could get some sideways action, but it does not hurt to just be patient here. Just wait until you see SPY kind of make a decision. So I think I'm looking for that little ABC, but if it breaks that low, I think it's going straight into the 390s. 400 is a huge psychological level, but I think you're either going to hold this area. I don't think. Okay, so let me lay this out. So if you make this new low, if you break this low, I think you're going to be heading into the 390s. And I don't think, even though 400 is a huge psychological support, I don't think you can go to 400 and bounce from there. You might get reactions off of it, but I think you either hold this low or you're going through 400. So you could see reaction to 400, but I don't think it would hold if you get there. So again, this is an area I've been watching for months. Actually, I have the price levels like on a sticky note that I wrote like early in August, and that region was 393 to 389. This is an area I've had for literally like a month now, just sitting next to it. So this region, a lot of support. You're gonna have a lot of demand there. You have a gap there. So I don't think you would get through this right away. I would 100% be a buyer in this region, looking for a very, very massive bounce. So with all possibilities, it's very difficult to read, but 5 waves down, it's just, this is a good area to wait and see what it wants to do. So not really too much else to say. I showed you everything I wanted to show you. Commodities, I think, is going to be the way to go for maybe a week or so until we see what SPY wants to do. But yeah, again, join the Discord. If I'm not on YouTube, that's where I will be. So that's where I'm going to leave this video. Make sure to show it some love. Give it a like and subscribe if you watch the whole thing through. Yeah, peace out, guys.